recording. Okay, I believe it is recording. Oop. Is this working? Is this thing working? Testing, testing. Is it recording? Because I made a whole video that was almost an hour long and using Photoshop, and I was capturing the window of Photoshop, and it recorded nothing that I drew. It recorded the audio, but nothing about what I was explaining about what I was drawing. It was like a waste and kind of disappointing that this kind of stuff keeps happening to me, As I try to explain things, it's like the universe doesn't want me to explain these things to anyone or something because of how it's working out. I'm gonna use this color. I hope it's recording. Okay. Light travels and over distance, and the faster you go, the slower time goes. Okay. We have 2 points in something I like to call the universe. And the distance between this point and this point is 500, let's say, light years. And those 2 points are 2 observers within the universe. And because if you look at this observer, you are seeing if you could see this observer, you would be seeing this observer where he was 500 years ago, because 500 light years takes it that long for the image of him to reach you. Okay, but what if 2 observers are facing each other, boo-boo, looking at each other? Can they see each other simultaneously? And if they can see each other simultaneously, which one seeing each other simultaneously, or existing simultaneously and looking at each other, which one is real? Which one is existing? If they see each other through some magical telescope simultaneously at that distance, which one is in the future, which one's in the past? Well, relative to each point, they're both in the future and the other's in the past, right? From each perspective. It's very, very weird to me. It's like it suggests that the universe, because it came supposedly from some little mass, it was one or potentially 2 parts of every variation of everything over time in all directions. And we're just seeing, no matter where you are in the universe, you're always looking at the past, But who's the original? How far back does it go, you know? And do dimensions curve back on each other? Are they not a straight line? You know? Like, and like Earth, it has Santa Claus up here at the North Pole, beep boop, and then we got the South Pole, right? But there's a center point to the Earth, and there's a magnetic torus field around Earth, you know, which looks like a donut. You know, it's a torus, like this. But then you have circles of circles around the torus, you know. So it's like you got circles of circles. I can draw sometimes. I'm actually pretty okay at it as an artiste. But those circles all intersect at the same point, you know, which is this point. Or perhaps overlapping, you know, perhaps they overlap just enough that within that you have the North and South Pole. Because if we didn't have I mean, isn't there any, in order to keep the entire planet within that magnetic field, that magnetic field would have to overlap to cover the entire surface. But perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps at the North, perhaps Santa Claus and the dude down in the penguins down here are not within that magnetic field, or they just overlap, and so this torus intersects itself in order to overlap in order to meet, you know, overlap at the point of the North and South Pole. But they do, but there has, which means that if they do overlap enough to cover the entire planet, not just, you know, I mean, not it, to include the poles. Those poles share this. There is a point within the Earth that kind of is neutral or negated, like where the two. I mean, that would be a weird shape, wouldn't it? It would be like this. On the outside, you know, and so on and so forth, and like a pumpkin, you know, where inside the pumpkin there is this weird shape, which is like a fishing, like the lead a lead fishing weight shape, like this. In a three-dimensional shape, you know, which is kind of interesting. It's like a seed, almost, in shape. But yeah, how can anything exist simultaneously in this universe given distance and time? Because at that distance, they're 500 years apart, or maybe 1,000, or maybe half of a, maybe 250 years apart. Who knows? I don't know. This would be the midpoint, which would be 250 light years from this point, the midpoint, and 250 light years to this point, which would be like that. It's just so, it suggests that no two observers can exist at the same time, that we are all observing ourselves in the past. We're all observing ourselves in the past. Anybody, or there's only one observation of, at any one time within the universe, there's only one observer, potentially, given that we cannot observe anything except in the past, looking into the past. So how do you look to the future without looking into the past at the same time? It's like, where do you see yourself in 50 years? You know? It's like about 50 light years over there, you know? Or over there in any given direction. Depends on what, it's like, I don't know, what direction should I go? Let me tell you. Which way do you want me to go? And I'll tell you. You know? Weird. It's like, where do you, that's funny. Where do you see yourself in 50 years? Well, that depends on, how fast I go in which direction. If I travel at the speed of light, I'll be 50 light years over there, depending if that's the direction I go in. I'm trying to make it funny, but it is. It's very weird. It's like, it's like if somebody asked you that, it's like, didn't I just say that, a little bit ago? I was just saying that a little bit ago. Why are you asking me now? It's like, because I'm from your past, I'm you 50 years ago, projecting into the future where I want to be in 50 years. you know? I see. Did it end up well? Well, I don't know. I'm asking you. Are you happy? but I'm not even 50 years old. Well, there you go. See, trying to figure that out. Who was I 50 years ago when I'm only 43, turning 44? Well, 50 years ago, you know, I was a whole different person. I don't, whatever. Alright. I hope you found that interesting because at least the idea of it, because I sure do. Okay, I'm gonna go.